Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Just confirming whether you all can hear me and see me. And we'll be starting with the session now. Okay. Good evening. Okay. Good evening. So today we'll be talking about LRDI. What I'm going to do over here with LRDI today is talk about how is LRDI basically solved. I'm not going to do too many sets. I will discuss sets, but today don't think of how to solve a set, but think more about how to select sets. Okay, that is going to be more important. The crucial thing for you is going to be that how do you actually select sets correctly? Which out of those five are your top two sets to be selected or top three sets to be selected? Okay, also understand that most of the years, when I mean most of the years, except CAT 24, where the LRDS section was slightly easier, most of the years, the cutoff is, that is 85 percentile, is exactly at one set. Okay. You get one set correct, most of the years you would have cleared the cutoff. Well, we are obviously not aiming for the cutoffs, we want higher scores. So, hence, I will recommend your please understand that you should be trying to solve two and a little bit more. So either you will get some questions correctly through smartness, which I'll show you today, or otherwise you will try and attempt some part of the third set. So 24 marks, so even was good last year for the cutoff, if I'm not mistaken. 23 was the cutoff last year, 24 should be actually good. So if you even land up with one set of five and one set of four, and spend good quality time over it and get everything correct. See, LRDI, according to me, is an area where you normally get everything right in a set or you don't get right. I don't think, unless you made silly errors, that's a different thing. So you can always keep a buffer of one or two here and there. But my aim should be 9 attempts, all correct, 27 score. That's a pretty decent score. I'm not saying it's a great score, but that's a pretty decent score. Okay. So I've already all the questions which I can say I've already more or less answered by what I wanted to say. So my aim today is to explain to you how to manage those 40 minutes in DILR. We are going to look at CAT 24 slot 1 paper, and we will discuss that if you were taking that paper, how would you have attempted? I know you would have seen the sets, so there is always going to be some bias that, as I've always said this, that last year papers will always give you some bias. So don't worry. We will be discussing some more sets also after that. So, first rule, according to me, DILR selection is most important. Period. Khatam. No other quant mein nahi in anything, because see, even in verbal, selection is not as important. Why? Because what happens in verbal also, because out of the four RCs, you're more or less going to attempt three. So even if you're going to go wrong, you will go wrong by one. But in LRDI, you have to attempt out of five, you're going to attempt maybe two full sets, right? So two out of five, there is a chance you can go 100% wrong. You could select the two worst set and somebody could select the two best sets, and that's the whole thing. Okay. So first thing, selection is very important. How the selection will be done, we'll discuss a little bit. But remember that nobody, whoever he is, however good or bad he is, should never start the set directly on his own or on. You can't just say, okay, let me look at the first set and start solving. Never works. Okay. Quickly understand the difficulty level of the papers and select the top two and deselect the bottom two. This is a very important part. Selecting the top two is important, but even deselecting the bottom two is equally important. Are you sometimes, even if it is difficult to which, so normally, इसमें top one and bottom one हो जाता है लोगों का. That is also okay. At least get the top one correct, and then out of and the bottom one you get out of the way. Then out of the remaining three, if you can even get, even if you have a little bit more favor to a particular area or a little bit gut feeling, which I don't like the word. I hate the word gut feeling. I selected the set on gut feeling. Okay. But uh, if you get the top one right and the bottom one out of the way, then out of the three, you can still work with that much and say you got one right. I'm just reading, okay? Sorry, Ayushman, ICAT 20, I haven't seen, so you'll have to excuse me for that. We will also talk about CAT 23 CAT 2 3 sets. I have taken one old set from the earlier CATs also, so pay attention. Here, as I said, it's not so much today about set solving, but why am I selecting one set over the other? That is the important part. Like how in CAT 24 slot 1, the selection was so obvious. If somebody had done it smartly, could have easily got three sets in this paper. Okay, we will have to look at the DI. We will look at have a look at the DILR of CAT 24 slot 1. How to maximize your 40 minutes. This is the whole aim. Main is, there is a very important terminology I prefer called as marks earned per minute. How can you get this in your favor? Okay. These are the rough cutoffs, 85 percentile over the last 3 years before 24. 21 was the medium paper 16 to 18. 22 was very difficult DILR 11 to 12. And 23 was tough 12 to 14. So even in the medium paper, if you notice, it is slightly above one set. Okay. Okay, Tejaswani, great. Let's go ahead. So, what is the important thing for me when I select a set? Okay. First, very, very important is familiarity of the set. How familiar is the set? Have I seen something like this before? In fact, this is not also for selection. This can also be for deselection also. I'll give you an example. Okay. So, let me explain the logic to you of this. Uh, Familiarity of sets. I look at a set and say, okay, three Venn diagram. I look at the questions and say, okay, not too much maximum minimum asked. Looks pretty doable. Something like the 23 ka visa scheduling set. The visa scheduling set was terrible. Had to be left alone. So those are the ways you have to look at it and tell yourself, okay, this is very doable, or I have done something like this. I know these things are doable. Or next time when you see a visa scheduling type of set, you know that it's not doable. So I'll give you my experience. I don't know anybody's heard of this set. There used to be a set called the Purana mixer grinder and the Naya mixer grinder. It's a very old cat. I don't even recollect. I think 2004 or something like that. I don't know for sure. 4 or 6, one of the years. It's a very important set. So you will Google it and you should find it easily. Purana mixer grinder and Naya mixer grinder set. Okay. Now this set was one of the worst sets Cat had made in those era. It was so bad that Cat made a mistake in one of the questions. Okay. Yeah, it's a DI set. It's more DI, very little logic, but very calculation intensive set in terms of there is data accumulating from previous years. So many mixture grinders were made, so many got spoiled, so many got sold, then the remaining were carry forward, and so on. So that carry forward type of data, now whenever I look at it and I say, okay, wow, this is like Purana mixer grinder, Naya mixer grinder, I don't think so. I should do it. Okay. So in fact, somebody said I haven't seen it. So if you want to Google, find it on YouTube, you with my name, try and find that set. You will see a very, very different me, maybe around 15 years back. Okay. You'll see a very, very different me in that video also. Okay. Only thing, don't come back and laugh at it. So types of condition. So for me, familiarity becomes very important. With familiarity, I have one more point which I always look at is the amount of data, the quantum of data. Now, what do I mean by that? Normally, my thought is this is my thought, okay? If the data is not too much, the set has to be not too difficult. Why? Because they can't put so many traps in it. So I remember one of the years, I think 22 or 21, one of the sets was there. A lot of people had found it very difficult, but I had selected based on the amount of data, and actually turned out to be pretty easy. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Some people are saying still good evening, so I've just answered to that. Okay, so the first familiarity select it should help you in selection also and deselection also. Types of condition. This is the make and break part of the set. This is like the most important thing. Types of condition. Are they direct or indirect? What are they telling you in that? If it's a direct condition, how do I use it? If it's an indirect condition, how do I use it? So these are going to be the most important things in that. Okay. Always remember conditions will make or break the set. If they've given you in a, like it's a simple thing like Sudoku. When you play Sudoku, if they have given more values are already given in the table, then it's obviously an easy Sudoku. When you play on the phone and you must have played the easy level and the difficult level, the major difference starts with the amount of numbers already filled in and the amount of numbers are left to be filled. So same thing I look at in DILR. Okay, if I tell myself that okay, this is going to be a 3 by 8 ka table. I'm making a table and it's going to be a 3 by 8 ka table. Suppose just for example, which means the table will have 24 values. Out of those 24 values, how many values have been directly given and how many values को घुमाया फिराया है, right? So always remember that you have to ask yourself whether it is 24, 12, 18, whatever that number you're going to get. See, most of the sets, not all, but most of the sets are going to be about creating a table and filling, say, 6 or 18 or 24 values. And once you get those 18 or 24 values, you will start getting the sets. And that will happen. Not everything, but third is type of questions. The How many people start solving a set without reading the questions? It's the worst thing to do. In fact, I recommend after reading the first paragraph, go to the questions, read the questions, and then come back to the set. How does that help you? Because you can start looking out for what they are exactly saying. What were the things asked, and those exact things which were asked, we can start looking out for those. That is my thought process and how you should look at it. 100% Manisha. For me, reading the just give me a second. Yeah. For me, reading the questions is the most important thing. Okay. I always believe that you should read the questions very, very, very carefully. If you're not reading questions, you are actually not doing well. It means you're unnecessary waste of time. Okay. So read questions very carefully. So type of questions. What do I mean by type of questions? कैसे टाइप के क्वेश्चंस है, क्या दिया है, आर देयर टू मच, कैन नॉट बी डिटरमाइंड, नन ऑफ दीज, आर द ऑप्शंस टू क्लोज इन अ DI set, आर द ऑप्शंस टू क्लोज बाय, all those things matter a lot. Okay. No, Prajapati, you have to read the question, but you don't have a choice. It should not take you 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, what is the first line? Standard set ke something something this set. What is this word? Anybody knows that word? What is written? Does anybody understand the meaning of that word? Exactly what was trying to say. I wrote it in German. This is a German word, German for unique. It's German word for unique. What did I want to show? That there are some sets which we don't, when we see them, we don't understand head and tail of. Why waste time on those sets? Don't even spend too much time. When you read the set, you start realizing this set I'm not going to understand head and tail of. And that is one set you should definitely leave. Okay. So Shreyas, again, questions will help you understand whether the set has more than one conditions. If the questions start with if B belongs to team X, just example, I'm just taking a random thing I'm saying. If B belongs to team X, then what is the chance of so and so happening? So that kind of tells me that the data for B would most probably not be complete, or there will be multiple cases for B. And that is how I look at multiple cases. Okay. So how do I, so this is my system of giving points. I have seen and solved very similar sets before. I give it 3 points. I have seen somewhat similar sets. I give it 2 points. I have never seen a set. Actually, this is, and but understand what they are trying to say, then I give it 1 point. And if I have never seen it and I cannot understand it also, I'll give 0 points. So obviously, see, one more thing, understand that this is just 2 days before CAT. So maybe you can't follow my method completely, but start using little bit of it. I'm not saying completely. Don't change your methodology just because I am saying on the last Friday before CAT. So you should not change the methodology, but you should still work a little bit on it and ask yourself, okay, yaar, what can I do? Can I, at least you will now start figuring out sets better. Or in short, what the word I didn't like again, your gut feeling will get better. Okay. How are the conditions? Are the conditions direct or round and round like jalebi? Are they round and round? बहुत घुमाते हैं. There are a lot of sets I have seen where the information is such that they keep, you don't feel like leaving it also, but you can't put it in the table also. And hence these are the things that I always say that please be careful about. Are the conditions direct? Direct condition is something I can go and put it in my table. Okay. A direct condition is that can be directly used, put it in the table directly. That's more or less like data already given. An indirect statement is like a jalebi, keeps the information hidden and round and round. Okay, I'm just reading the statements. Okay, how do you give points over here? I would give it points like this. All or most direct statements. This is going to be, in fact, if you all don't follow anything else also, the first part, the third part, even if you follow this part, no, it is very important. All direct statements, I would give it 4 points. More direct, less indirect, I will give it 3 points. More indirect, less direct, I'll give it 2 points. All indirect, I'll give it 1 point. Okay, this is how I work on it. And this part is my favorite part. I do this every single time I look at sets. Okay. Okay. Are the questions closed or open? What do I mean by closed questions? Closed questions have a direct, straightforward options, or they are theta directly asked. Which team did A belong to? Did it belong to team P, Q, R, or S? Which city was Rajesh from? Rajesh from one of these four cities. Okay, so always look out for those. Also, one more thing. With this, I also want to mention something. Suppose sometimes there are 5 teams, or say there are 8 people, it's 5 teams, and sometimes there are questions asked around this. How many of these teams can we find the data about? And it is a theta question. Never leave such a question. Always mark something or the other. Because if you're marking 5, may say 1, see, how many of them can we find all the data about? So if you're making a set, they will at least give you 3 or 4. Mark on the higher side. If you're guessing it, if that's a set you have not attempted, but you've spent some time leaving time for solving data, then that is how I would do it. Closed questions have direct, straightforward options, or they are direct theta questions. Open questions ask like maximum, minimum values, or there is some additional data added to them. Those are open questions. So always be beware of those type of questions. Okay. So how many questions are closed? How many questions are open? All this is very important. More closed questions or more direct questions, it's a 3 pointer. Divided hai to 2 pointer. More open than one, so on. So this is a session we'll be doing tomorrow all cons revision formula. Only if you're comfortable studying one day before CAT should you attend. Otherwise, you can just leave it. Okay, before I go ahead with this, let's just have it. So basically, how much time should you spend before you actually start solving? My recommendation is approximately 2 minutes per set to decide how many points it got. फिर जिसको हाईएस्ट पॉइंट्स मिला है उस सेट के साथ शुरू कर दो. सो अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 minutes, maybe 8 to 10 minutes, not wasted but invested. Approximately, okay, so 8 to 10 minutes invested, and then once you get that 8 to 10 minutes, you know which two sets to attempt, and hopefully at least one or two questions answered. I'll show you how can you answer those questions. Okay, and last part, then in the last 30 minutes, put your head down and start solving. Don't look here and there, don't think at all, start solving. Trust the process, trust yourself for selecting that set. Don't get into 5 sets. You cannot, nobody can get into 5 sets. Okay. Okay. This was the first set last year from CAT 24 paper, slot 1. There is still more data on page 2. You can read it once or you can read it in 2 parts. Whatever, I don't know how does that work. It was definitely not an easy set. Anybody who says easy is finding it easy only because they have done it many times. No way was this set compared to the other sets of of this test were easy. All other sets in this test or in this section were much more easier. Okay, so don't tell me that this set was easy. This set was definitely, it was not horrendous, but it was definitely not easy. So let's go through the data and see what can we understand. There are two students who are fighting for elections. Uh, the intensity level, students will vote based on the intensity level of their campaigns and the type of campaigns they run. This was the important part. Students will vote based on the intensity level and the type of campaign they'll run. Each campaign is said to be have a level of 1. So there's a level 1 campaign if it is a STAD campaign, and a level 2 if it is a vigorous campaign. So just at the down, I'm making my data that there are two types of campaigns, campaigning level 1 and level 2. Now, the other thing is, if both A and R are focusing on issues, then what will happen? And the second part is, if at least one of them runs a campaign attacking the opponent. So there are two types of campaigns they can run. One is when they are focusing on issues. What do they mean by they are focusing on issues? They are talking about problems in the college or whatever, whatever. And second is that they are talking about um, issues, they are attacking the opposite, that the opposite party is not doing well. Hence, you all should vote for me. Okay. So let's go through this part. The percentage of students voting in the election will be 20 times the sum of the levels of the campaign of the two students. For example, if A and R both run vigorous campaign, then 80% people will vote. Interesting one. Pay attention. If both of them are going to run level 2 campaign, 80% people will come to vote. And obviously, if both run only 1 plus 1, level 1, then only 40% people will come to vote. I'll repeat. If both run level 2 campaigns, then 80% people will come to vote. If both run level 1 campaign, then 40% people will come to vote. And how will the votes be distributed? If both of them run level 2 campaigns or both of them run level 1 campaigns, then the votes will get exactly divided. But if one of them runs level 2 campaign and the other runs level 1 campaign, then it will get divided also in that ratio 1 is to 2. It will then get divided the votes. So see, just simple logic hai. If both run level 1, then 40% are going to vote. If one runs level 1 and the other runs level 2, then 60% will vote, and otherwise 80% will vote. And division will happen in this case 20-20, in this case 40-40, in this case 20-40. Who will get 20, who will get 40, depending on who's running level 1. So page 1 is clear. All this data we have put down into so much only. Everything else is done. Okay, now the above mentioned percentage changes as follows if at least one of them runs a campaign attacking their opponent. Now, instead, if they're attacking the opponent, okay. If Amya runs a campaign attacking Ramya and Ramya runs a campaign focusing on issues, then 10% of the students who have otherwise voted for Amya will now vote for Ramya. That means anybody who attacks the opponent will get lesser votes. 10% from their votes will go away to somebody else. I'll repeat. Okay, so suppose take the 80 wala example. They both were going to get 40-40 in the 80 wala example. Suppose this is Amya, and this is Ramya. If Amya runs a campaign attacking Ramya, so if Amya is running the attacking campaign, then what will happen? 4% will go away. 4 out of this will go away because 10% of the voters will go away. So 4 will minus over here and plus 4 will come over here, and so on, so on. There are second and third points also. So I realized in this set, after this I wanted to read the questions, so I read the questions. There are 5 questions. If both of them run stead campaigns, that is level 1, attacking the other, then what percentage of students will vote in the election? And what is the minimum? So what percent will vote in the election if both of them run stead attacking the other? So that is still point number 2 and 3 we have missed. But tell me, we had already understood one thing at least, that when both of them run stead, only 40% were going to vote. When both of them were running stead, only 40% were going to vote. So therefore, this is not the answer and this is not the answer. At least I know that much. And in DILR, if I'm able to figure out that 2 options are definitely not the answer, then the question becomes worth solving. Okay. What is the minimum percentage of students who will vote in the election? Interesting question. 1 and 2 were both very interesting questions. I'll tell you why. So what I realized in this set is that I don't need to maybe create a full table. I can go to every question and try and solve it. Are you all clear what I'm saying? For every question, I will try and solve it. I will not create a full table or something like that. That's how I would have worked on this. And that is where I'm leaving this set for now. If you want, I'll come back to it at the end. My plan today is to, out of these CAT 24 sets, to do 3 of them with y'all and then 3 more sets after that. Okay, so if you want, I'll give you the answer for this question. Let's have a look at this one. Both of them are attacking the other. So let's read that part. If Amya runs a campaign attacking Ramya and Ramya, that I don't have to read that paragraph. I have to read the third paragraph. If both run a campaign attacking each other, then 10% of the students who would have voted will now not come to vote only. Read this part. Our question is done. We already knew that if both of them run stead campaign, 40% people will vote because 20 into 1 plus 1, 40% were going to vote. But because they are attacking each other, out of this 40, 10% will not come and vote. How much is 10% of 40? 10% of 40 is 4. So 4 will not come to vote. 36 people will vote, or 36% will vote. I said 2-3 times I'm going to discuss CAT 24 paper, and then after that I'm going to solve 3 more sets. Last day of preparation, you should not be preparing too much. Just spend some time peacefully, go through some basic stuff, keep very light stuff, don't do anything drastically new. That's very important. Okay. And the best part about this, that even this question, minimum percentage of people who will vote comes through this data only. No other data will reach 36. Understand that. Because if you take uh, both are running vigorously, so there is 80%. So we have to come back to lower only 40%, and both are attacking each other. So therefore 36%. The first two questions can answer 36%. According to me, these were the most easiest ones. So, Chavi, I've been so Chavi has been the saying the same thing, that when I solve previous year's paper, I get a very good score, but when I solve the mock test, I'm not getting good scores. I have mentioned this so many times that Chavi, this is the reason is very, very obvious, is that when you solve previous year's papers, there is a lot of familiarity. You have even if you have not solved the paper itself, you've solved very similar things earlier, and hence a previous year paper में से जो score आ रहा है should never be considered as your right score. Okay. Oh, right now I can't change it. I have already made my presentation all, so I can't just get to a new set. Okay. Second set. I am my main decision is should I select it, should I not select it. So when I look at this set, what is your first thing? Okay, there is a bar graph. There are three people, Dheeraj. Okay, there are three people. There is Dheeraj, there is Samantha, and there is Nitesh. So there are three people in this set. The bar graph ka numbers don't look very difficult. They look very straightforward numbers. Okay, 1 second. Huh? I don't know what's happening with this camera today, but it keeps tilting. Just give me a second. Let me fix the camera again one more time. I'm just going to wait and see whether it's finally set or not. But yeah, I think so it is now. Okay. Yeah. So there are, I don't know why. Hmm. Okay. So this set had one very important criteria. The data in the bar graph looks very, very easy. But when you read the data, you start realizing that it has got to do something with similar to Venn diagram logic. So you have to ask yourself, look at the questions. None of the questions really had a maxima minima. All the questions were close questions. This is at least one is your regular Venn diagram language. These both were directly closed questions. Even the last one was closed. So all four questions were closed. Bar graph ka data is very direct, as well as the data. We understand that's a Venn diagram data, and there are five more points given. The only thing I would decide before whether I would attempt this set or not, I have to ask myself, am I comfortable solving Venn diagram? If I'm comfortable solving Venn diagram, this is a very doable set. Okay. 32 countries were visited by at least one of them. So there are three parts they had made to it: Asia, Europe, and rest of the world. So 32 countries were visited by at least one of them. And then, so this is the direct data. USA in the rest of the world is the only country that was visited by all three of them. So rest of the world, there's only one country which all three of them are visiting. Maybe it could be three different Venn diagrams also. एक एशिया के लिए वेन डायग्राम, एक रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड के लिए वेन डायग्राम, और एक तीन अलग अलग वेन डायग्राम भी हो सकता है. So that is how you have to start understanding this set. How many points would I give to this set? I would have given it roughly between 7 to 8 points, because the questions look very doable. The set was definitely very, very familiar to me. Okay, and hence I would definitely give it more points. So familiarity for me is important. Data was very direct. Okay. And that is how you work on it. Okay. Let's go ahead. Tournament type. You look at the set and you have to tell yourself, in fact, बहुत tournament भी दिया है. So क्या है इसमें देखते हैं. The game of quiet is played between two teams. Uh, in the previous one, somebody asked me, sir, in this question, how we determine to use Venn diagram. Look at the language. I looked at the language. At least all of them. In this country, there's only one USA. All that data which was given pointed towards Venn diagram, the way Venn diagram is. The game of, you don't have to make a Venn diagram. I said that it is similar Venn diagram logic. Okay. The game of quiet is played between six teams, numbered 1 to 6, playing in a quiet tournament. These teams are divided equally into two groups. In the tournament, each team plays every other team in the same group only once. So everybody is going to play everybody only once, and each team in the other group twice. So suppose 6 teams hai. There are 3 teams in group 1 and 3 teams in group 2. What will happen? Read the part very carefully. If they are in the same group, they will play them only once. So suppose, let's say I am one team. I want to count how many matches will I play. So listen to this very carefully. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if there is only one team, how do I figure if I am the team? Suppose I'm in one group A. So what happens in that group? There are 2 more teams with me, which means there I will play 1-1 match, 2 matches. But in the opposite side, there are 3 teams whom I'll play with 2 times. So I'll play 6 matches there. So 6 plus 2 total 8 matches I will play. That was the first part of the set. I understood that much. Till here I read and I understood that much, that every team will play 8 matches. If whoever is in my group, uske sath I will play only 1 match, and on the opposite side I'll play 2 matches. And with that much, if you read very carefully, I'll come to know something or the other. Let's read the questions because we'll keep our attention on question. How many rounds were there in the tournament? We'll come to that later. What is the number of team that team one? What is the number of the team that played team one in round 5? Okay, all that is okay. I'm just reading the question. Which team among the top team 2, 3, 4, 5 are not in the same group? Great. What is the number of the team that? Okay, so all questions are who played whom where. Okay, let's see whether we get to the round part. The tournament has several rounds, each of which consists of a game. Every player plays exactly one game in each round. हो गया मेरा first part. Every team plays exactly one game in each round. Tell me, what did I tell you? How many rounds as a team? I was going to play 8 matches, and they're saying in one round I can play only one match. खत्म हो गया, which means there are 8 rounds. Question number 1 is over. How many rounds are there in the tournament? 8 rounds are there in the tournament. Because as a team, if I am going to play 8 games and every round I can play only one game, so there are 8 rounds. Question 1 done. So up till now, you realize that if we were acting smartly, we got 2 to 3 questions. Okay. Next one. Let's see how much they. So now I also know that in every round, there will be 3 matches. Why 3 matches? Because there are 6 teams and everybody has to play. In one match, 2 teams will play. So suppose one plays 4, 2 plays 5, 3 plays whatever, 6. So every round there will be 3 matches. There are 8 rounds, which means this is going to be a table with 24 values. I have to ask myself, how many am I comfortable solving a set where I have to fill 24 missing values, out of which a lot of data will be there over here. So now comes the main part where I decide whether the data is direct or not. Approximately 9 o'clock maybe. Until 9 o'clock I'll approximately continue. In round 4 and round 7, the matchup, that is a pair of team playing against each other, were identical, and so is round 5 and 8. Suddenly मेरा 24-18 पे आ गया. क्यों? Suddenly this 24 has come to 18. Because if I get round 4, I have to blindly copy in round 7. And whatever I'll get for round 5, I have to blindly copy in round 8. So if this from 24 values, I've come down to 18 values. Suddenly, only one statement read. Next, these are all direct statement. Team 4 played Team 6 in round 1 and round 2. Also tells me 4 and 6 are in different groups. Team 4 and Team 6 played in round 1 and round 2. So 4 and 6 are not in the same group. Okay. If you read this much carefully, also now you get one more question. Let's see if you can think of one more question. I'll go to the question. Read this statement, everybody carefully, and see whether we can answer one more question. No, actually, we'll not get full question. Wait, no problem. Team 1 played Team 5 only once. So 1 and 5 are in the same group. And that was in round 2. Because they played only once, I know they're in the same group. Team 3 played Team 4 in round 3. All direct data. All data up till here is direct. Round 8, 3 played 6. Round 8 and round 5 are identical, which tells me 3 and 6 are also from different groups. 3 and 6 are from different groups. 4 and 6 are from different groups. Important data is up. While 2 played Team 5. Okay, so all this data say, I think the table creation was not very difficult. We will discuss the set. As I said, right now we are selecting the sets. I would have given the set somewhere around 8 points, a little bit more than the Venn diagram set because I prefer a table over a Venn diagram. That's personal choice. Okay. 3 and 6 in different groups, 2 and 5 in different groups, lot of data we get. Next one. Number of stars. Let's see what do we want to do in this set. 6 web surfers each had 30 stars. So surfer, suppose you surf the internet and you are being given 30 points to distribute between people. You want to call it 30 points, you want to call it 30 sets, whatever you want to call it. That's okay. That's just a thing. Yeah, I think finally we've got that in place. That was shaking too much. So, 6 web surfers have 30 stars which they distribute among 4 bloggers, A, B, C, D. The number of stars received by A and B from the 6 web surfers is shown in the figure. So, who received how many is being shown in the figure? The following. So, tell me there are 30 stars everybody has and there are 6 people. So, can I say 6 30s are 180 stars are available for distribution? 180 stars are actually available for distribution. Now, further, the following data, the number of stars received by A and B from the 6 web surfers is shown in the figure below. So, only from A and B, how much have they received has been shown in the data, not the whole data has been given. But at least from A and B, we have the whole data. So, lot of data has been given directly. The number of stars received by the bloggers from the surfers were all multiples of 5. This made my set so much easier. Everything is only a multiple of 5. That means somebody can give somebody only 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 or 30 stars or even 0 maybe. So, these are the only number of stars somebody will give. Total number of stars received. Point number 2 अच्छे से पढ़ो. Read point number 2 very carefully and you will get one answer. Total number of stars received by the bloggers were the same. That means all the bloggers received the same number of stars. How many stars were there? 180 stars. How many bloggers were there? Only 4. A, B, C and D. Only 4 bloggers were there. So how much did each get? 45, 180 divided by 4. Question number 1 padho. Total number of stars received by D over 180 divided by 4, 45. Are you all getting? Have you understood this? How we got one question so easily? Next one. Each blogger received a different number of stars from M. So M ko jo bhi stars from M, whoever M gave the 30 stars to, he gave all different numbers to everybody, and so on. So there is some indirect data over here, but there's a lot of direct data in the table. This graph is like data only. Remember, this whole graph is like data. So this is 10, this is 10, 0. This is 25, 0. This is 0, 0, and so on. So actually you have 12 values. So if you think 6 fours are 24 values had to be filled in the table, listen to this very carefully. 6 fours are 24 values had to be filled in the table, out of which 12 values have already been given, directly given. That makes your set so much more easier. Okay. I love the set. That's my preference. This was my second set to attempt. Maybe roughly 9 points is what I'm giving this set. But my favorite by far was this one. By far, it was the easiest set which CAT had asked in some years. In the last some years, I don't think so CAT has asked any easy set. And anybody who's even a little bit related to the stock market, understands the stock market, sees graphs, would have got this set in 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, great. So you have to figure out, even if you are not from the stock market, you just have to figure out. See, green and red also made life so much easy. Green is stocks which are where the day's high price is more, and so on. Means closing price is more than opening price, and red is opening price is more than closing price. So that's why this was a very easy set. Okay. I didn't even bother when I was reading this. I didn't even bother reading the questions or anything. I said I have to do it. So I'll come back and I'll start doing the sets now. Let's see what should you have achieved. Now this should have been your first 10 minutes. This should approximately have been your first 10 minutes where we have decided we are going to do the graph wala set, then maybe the bloggers wala set, and then the tournament wala set. That is what I have decided. You can also decide to do maybe the Venn diagram set. Hopefully, you're not getting trapped in the first set, because the first set you will get right. I think so. Most of you will get right, but you will waste a lot of time over it. And that is why you have to be very careful in that set. Okay, let's start. This is already something which you already discussed. So let's start with the first set. Let's quickly understand the first set. What I did was quickly create a value. Now look at the values the way I have created a table. Okay. Now, what is the table I have created? For A, what's the opening price? Oh, A is a red color. So opening price is on the top. It is over here. For A, because it's a red color. So if you want, you should finish all reds pele and then all greens. So A, the opening price is 22. What is the closing price? Closing price is over here, 18. High price is 24, low price is 12. And that is what I quickly did for all of them. Nothing much to explain in that. So these are the things I did. Maybe took me what, 1.5, 2 minutes to reach till here. Now, daily share price variability is defined as what? Day's high price minus day's low price divided by the average of the opening and closing price during the day. Which of the shares has the highest SPV or the, so you have to do only for these 4 shares, high minus low, and इसमें से भी रेड कौन सा है? ये 4 में से A, see the options are DAFC. DAFC. So we'll have to see which of them has the highest SPV. Price variable, high minus low. For A, what will we get? So let's look at this. What will we get? 20, high minus low. 24 minus 12 is 12 upon average of the opening and closing. If you notice, I cut out all the zeros, which made life easy. 22 और 18 का average is 20. So 12 upon 20, which is 0.6, and so on. Just went to it. So A is 0.6, B is also, C is also 0.6, okay, D is 1.2, and F is 0.47. So A, C, D, F, the four ones which I had to do, same calculation. I showed you the calculation for one of them. How did we get the 12? 24 minus 12 upon average of 22 and 18, which is 20. So this was 0.6. Maybe show you one more time for F. 20 minus 12 upon average of 12 and 18 and 16 is 17. So that's 8 upon 17, slightly less than half. So obviously, which of the among had the highest SPV? So highest is 1.2, that is D. That's your answer for this one. What about the next one? How many of the shares had a SPV greater than 0.5? Now the best part is that we in the previous question we have already finished 4. A, C, D, F. So A, C, D, F is already done. जिसमें से F का SPV is 0.47, rest all are above 0.5. So 3 are already above 0.5. I have to check only the remaining. That means I have to check B, E, and G. B, E, A, B, C, D is and yeah, B, E, and G. There were only 7, not 8. So over here, when you'll have to solve the remaining, what will you get for B? You'll have to calculate. E, you'll have to calculate, and so on. So B is once you know B is less than 0.33, so out. E is 0.4 out, and G is 0.5 exactly. So greater than 0.5. Okay. So answer is 4. Next one. So I am solving 3 old sets. Maybe those also not, when I mean new, I don't know. They are all CAT sets. Today the agenda was not solving sets. The agenda today is more about how to approach sets or how to select sets. So again, all this is very standard. Daily loss. How will you find daily loss? Is daily loss for a share is opening minus closing divided by opening. So you just have to do for these 4 shares. A is 4 by 22, B is 3 by 20, F is 2 by 18, and G is a gain. So I don't even have to look at this one. I have to solve for only these 4. 4 by 22 is 2 by 11. 1 by 11 is, we know, if I talk in percentages, 1 by 11 we know is 9.09. So this is approximately 18.18%. 3 by 20 is approximately 15%. And 2 by 18 is 1 by 9, which is 11.11%. Highest daily loss will be A, 18.18. What should have been the percentage wealth gain for a trader who bought equal number of all bullish shares? Bullish shares were the ones which were in green. So only these 3 shares. And wealth we want to know. So we have to say he bought equal number of shares. So the easiest thing is to say he bought 1 share of everything. Okay. Who bought equal number of shares at opening price and sold at day's high. So for the first share, okay, we want their percentage. Remember percentage मांगा है. So total percentage, first वाले के लिए profit is 6 rupees, 14 minus 8. Second वाले के लिए profit is 7 rupees. Third वाले के लिए profit is 7 rupees. Divide by your investment, 8 plus 5 plus 12. So that becomes 20 divided by 25, approximately 80%. Cool? Now, that bloggers and star wala, pay attention. This is also a very nice set. And I'll show you some tricks in this set, so pay attention carefully. This is the table we are going to talk about, right? So just keep paying attention to it. So first, A and B ka to table full is given in the graph. So there I have to just copy the values. This is 10 and 0. M gets 10 and B from B he gets 0. N will get 25, 0. Then this will get 0, 0. P will get 5 and 25. Now pay attention, because 5 and 25 means 30 are already over. So that means the other two will get only zeros. Next one, x 0 0, and last one y, I think 5 and 20. So only 5 is left. So one of them will get 0. So this is the table I've taken. Now I'm going to read the points. Now pay attention. This is why this set was so doable. Now I know that here I have to give 20 more. Here I have to give 5 more. Here I have to give the full 30. Here nothing. Here full 30. And here only 5 more. That's my main thing now, which I'm going to concentrate on. Each blogger, now read M के बारे में. Each blogger received a different number of stars from M. Let's read point number 3. So, if they all receive different number of stars, what can I say about M right now? I have 20 more to give away, but I can't give 10, 10. So clearly it has to be 5 and 15, and nobody can get 0 also, because B has got 0. So this has to be 5 and 15 over here, but I don't know who gets 5, who gets 15. So I'll come to that later, but I'll just keep that 5 slash 15, 15 slash 5, like how we do during Sudoku. Next point, two sufferers gave all their stars to a single blogger. Now, who can be those two surfers? Two people gave everything to only one person, all 30. Those two can be only out of O or X. Nobody else can give because only they are left with 30. So O or X gave 30, 0, 0, 30, one of them, but we'll come to that. D received more stars than C from Y. So from Y is only 5, 5. So D has to receive more. So 5, 0. D received more. Data is more or less done. And you might say, oh, sir, we are stuck. But if you start thinking now, this was the main part where you now have to start figuring out who will get more. Okay. We also had been told that the vertical total is same. We also had been told that this was all 45, 45, 45. So that was very important. That was going to be our key to start getting other values. So I'll just clear this out for you. So as we said, 15, 5, 5, 15. Here 30, 0, 0, 30 or 0, 30, 30. Because both of them have done that. Two suffers. Okay. Now. And this we already know is 0, 5. So this can be 5, 0 or 0, 5 because only 5 was left. Now you have to start figuring out which will work, which will not work. Now understand over here. If somebody gets 30 over here, suppose if this was 30, do you agree he can't get 30 one more time? In fact, he can't get 5 also. He will have to get 15. Then only his total will come to 45. So that 30 becomes very important. And same way, if this 30, so there will be only two cases which we can work on, and most of the things will get ironed out that way. Okay, so pay attention to that. I'll start figuring that for you. So 30, 0, so 0, 30. So that has to be, now understand C has to get 130 at least, no, from somewhere. C has to get 130. So which means if C has to get a 30, C can't get anything else. C will have to get a 15 on top, and therefore D will have to get a 5. So this will become 0 because C can't get anything else. C ka 45 is done. I know still it is one of the circles is 30. Which one we don't know. So this has to be 5 over here, sure shot. And most of our data done. So this is still not done, but everything else is done. Why did the same problem not occur for D? Because D can get 3 5s. C could not get those 3 5s. And that is why this last statement was a make and breaks. Set is over. All 5 questions can be answered like anything. What is the total number of stars received by D? So D has received how many stars? 45. That's what we said in the starting only was the easiest question. What was the minimum number of stars received from D from Y? That was also the easy one. We had got this very quickly if you remember. Okay. Next one. How many surfers distributed the stars among exactly 2 bloggers? That means where were 2 zeros there? So N had 2 zeros and P had 2 zeros. Nobody else has 2 zeros. So therefore exactly 2 ke liye answer is N and P 2. Which of the following can be determined with certainty? Number of stars received by C from M. C from M, we are definitely getting the answer. And number of stars received by D from O, this we are not definitely getting. It can be 0 or 30. So we are getting the first statement, we are not getting the second statement. So answer is fourth, only 1. And that is why it was a very, very easy set. Yes, Yash, what happened? You want me to go through the set one more time? I thought this was a very easy set. If you want, I'll quickly go through this part one more time, how I got the table. Quickly. Okay, pay attention. So this much was already given. 45, 45 we got. Now, we know that only 15 are left, or 20, 30 were there's only 20 are left. And based on the point where they've said M got different everywhere, we got 5, 15 or 15, 5. We don't know which is true. Over here, one of them has to be 5 and the other has to be 0. Here, that I'll come to later. O and X have given their stars to only one person. So they will give full 30 and so on. And for Y, they had given a statement over here directly, and therefore this was 0, 5. Once I got this, very importantly, I got it. D has got 1, 5 over here, which means and it is going to get a 30. That means 30 plus 5, it can't get one more 15. It will have to get 3 5s. So my way of doing it is, this has to be 5 for D. This also has to be 5. Only then will D reach 45. It will get 130 here or here. I don't know. And same logic for C. C has not got any 5s. So C will get a 15, 0 and 30. And once we got this, the whole set was done. In fact, I was just understanding that I feel that DILR will not be very difficult. IIM Kozhikode in 2019 also especially did not set a very difficult paper. That's my feeling. Okay, now the tournament wala set which we were discussing earlier. Let's go through that. As I had said, there are 8 teams. 8 teams. And what all direct data is there? First, let's put all the direct data. 4 and 7 were identical. And 5 and 8 were identical. So let's start putting in round 8, team 3 played 6 and 2 played 5. And so automatically 1 has to play 4. So 3 plays 6, 2 plays 5. So bacha hi nahi, 1 has to play 4. So 3 plays 6 over here also, 2 plays 5, 1 plays 4. What about exactly 6 teams were there? I've already discussed the basics of the set. That is why I've started directly now. Now, what else? Team 3 played team 4 in round 3. So direct data जो जो है वो सब डाला जाए. And team 1 played team 6 in round 6. Okay. Team 1 played team 5 only once in round 2. Now, I am starting to do the groupings. Now, what all groups can I get? I am trying to figure that out first. Okay. If you cannot see this, I'll write it again over here. Group 1, maybe my face is coming in between there. Group 1, group 2. So, if I assume just which group doesn't matter. Suppose 2 is in one group. So 2 के साथ 5 is definitely in the opposite group. 2 के साथ 5 is definitely on the opposite group because 2 and 5 have played here also, 2 and 5 have played here also. So 5 is definitely in the opposite group. Next, what about 1 and 5? They had told us 1 and 5 played only once, which means 1 is in the same group over here. So 1 is in the same group over here. So 4 has to be in the opposite group. So 1 and 4 are in this groups that way. Okay, now we are left with 3 and 6. Now 3 and 4 have already played. 3 and 6 have played 2 times. So they are opposite groups. So मुझे मालूम है. But कौन सा किसके साथ है पता नहीं है. So we'll hold on to it. Team 4 played team 6 in both round 1 and round 2. So 4 and 6 are in opposite groups. So 6 will come here. And 3 will come here. We already got, I think, 1 or 2 questions. 2 questions ho gaye apne already. If you have noticed up till now, if you go to the questions, you will realize there was one question in which they had asked which teams are in the same group. So 5 was not in the same group as 2, 3, 4. Okay, that way you have to go about this set. So this much data was all filled in. I'll just clear out all this. Okay, maybe I'll not clear out because otherwise this will also get cleared out. 2, 4, 3, 5, 1, 6. I'll remember. 2, 4, 3 in one group, 5, 1, 6 in the other group. Okay. Now let's start with the remaining data. So team 4 played team 6 in round 1 and round 2. Now round 2 का मुझे दो matches मिल गया है. So I can get the third match also. That's going to be very straightforward. So 2 and 3 will play over here. Now 2 and 3 are going to play only one time. That data is done now. 2 and 3 have already played. Now let's start getting 5 and 8 were repeat. Now 4 and 7 have to be exactly identical. That means now I started with say one team 1. Team 1 के कौन से matches हो गए वैसे मैंने start किया. See, pay attention. 1 has already played 5. 1 and 5 are going to play only one time. 1 and 6 are going to play only one time. 1 and 4 have already played 2 times. So 1 with 3 is left. 1 with 3 is left, and that will come in 4 and 7 both. So 1 with 3 and 1 with 2 is also left. So, but 1 with 2 का एक match हो गया है. Okay. So that you can actually no. One with 3 over here, 1 with 3 over here, 1 with 2 in round 3 because nothing else is left. 1 के लिए, and 1 with 2 in round 1. That way we have finished all the games of 1 now. And once you got that, you start getting most of the things. यहाँ पे 2 हो गया तो 3 and 5 मिल जाएगा. यहाँ पे 5 and 6 मिल जाएगा. Now round 4 and round 7 का बाकी matches has to be 2 has already played what all matches you have to think. 1 with 2 is done, 2 with 5 is done, both matches. 2 with 6 ka is left. So that has to come in round 4 and round 7. 2 with 6. So round 4 ka third match will be 4-5. Round 7 ka third match also will be 4-5. And therefore whatever remaining is there will come in round 6. I thought again this was a very, very, very doable set. In fact, as easy as the surfers and blogger. Just take this data, solve it. Questions are very straightforward. How many rounds were there? 8. We already answered that. What is the number that played team 1 in round 5? 4. Anyway, it's a theta, so you should have marked something or the other. Which team among the teams number 2 to 5 were not in the same group? So we saw that 5 was not in the same group. Next, what is the number of teams that played team 1 in round 7? Round 7, 1 has played 3. What is the number of teams that played 6 in round 3? 6 in round 3 is 5. Done. So my whole idea is always select sets very carefully and very smartly. Okay. Let's go ahead. Now these are some older sets I'm going to do. What we are going to do now and y'all will do with me is y'all will tell me how would you have placed that set. Okay. Go through this set and tell me where would you place it. Come on, quickly. I'm giving you a minute to go through it. Yeah. Let's have a look at it. So specialty market sells 320 products. Each of these products is either cosmetic product or a nutrition product. So products have to be broken up into two parts, cosmetic and nutrition. Further, each of these product was also a foreign product or a domestic product. So what I would do, I would break this up further into a horizontal part. Cosmetic, this, And on this side, I will put up, what is that? Domestic and foreign. That way. So I'll make a 4 by 4 block. That is what I would do. Okay, each of these products has at least one of the two approvals, FDA and EU. And now the third data, I will prefer writing it down next to the data when I make it. The following facts are known. There are equal number of domestic and foreign products. Great. So that tells me 160, 160. Half of the domestic. So data looks a lot more direct. If you get the understanding of how the set is going to be, I think this becomes a doable set. Okay, so let's try getting the data. There was one cannot be determined. One of this is a problem. Such a question is always an issue for me. I hate such questions. Okay, let's start. So cosmetic, nutrition, foreign, domestic, 320 are there. There are equal number of domestic and foreign. What will that tell me? Domestic and foreign दोनों में 160, 160. Let's read one statement carefully. Half of the domestic products were FDA approved cosmetic products. Let's read properly. Domestic ka half is FDA approved cosmetic. So 80 within cosmetic is FDA approved. That means there can be still more over here in cosmetic, but they might not be FDA approved. So this is the 80 over here, half of 160. None of the foreign products had both the approvals. That means for foreign, none of them had both the approvals, that is FDA and EU दोनों नहीं था, while 60 domestic product had both the approvals. So both का foreign में 0 आंसर है, but both approvals domestic में 60 है. There were 140 nutrition products, half of them were foreign products. So total number of nutrition products is 140, out of which half were foreign. That means 70, 70. So 140 nutrition. So automatically 180 cosmetic, 70 were foreign and 70 were domestic. We will get a lot of values over here also. This is 160. This is 70. So this becomes 90. This is 160. This is 70. So this will also become 90. So we get all the total 4 at least we got. There were 200 FDA. There is no name for this kind of table. This is something which I generally make. There were 200 FDA approved products. 70 of them were foreign products and 120 of them were cosmetic products. So FDA type के 200 products है. Listen very carefully. FDA approved. 70 foreign में है and 120 cosmetic में है. So FDA 70 over here in foreign and in cosmetic. So EU is obviously 110 because totally 140 थे. Okay, because both के 0 है. So this is like a Venn diagram. Both is 0. So 70 over here. So 110 has to be over here. Next, FDA ka both was 60. Now see, this is very important. Pay attention to this very carefully. There were 200 FDA products. 70 of them were foreign and 120 of them were cosmetic. Now, total FDA approved products were 200. So remaining FDA will have to come into domestic. Only FDA will become 70 because FDA is 130. Both are 60. So only FDA is 70 and only EU will be 30. Once you got this much, it will take around 7 to 8 minutes. This much part can take maybe 7 to 8 minutes, maybe even 9 minutes. Worth it, because once you got this much, you have to get all questions correct. So now you get the remaining part. FD over here is 40, FD 30, 50. Okay, let me explain how EU is 110 over here. Somebody asked how EU was 110. Let's look at what they have told us very carefully. We are talking about there were 200 FDA products. 70 of them. Now see, initially, each of the product had at least one of the two approvals. You can't have no approval at all. So therefore, if here we had 180 products, if we had 180 products and 70 as FDA and both is 0, so 110 comes from 180 minus 70. This is not a Venn diagram, but it will have Venn diagram logic in it. Okay. How many? Okay, this is, I have done something this lot of times. In fact, this video of mine has been on YouTube for nearly a couple of years. How many foreign products were FDA approved cosmetic products? So FDA approved cosmetic. So what is the answer we're looking for? 40. These were FDA approved foreign products in cosmetic. So see, what are you looking at? You're looking at foreign, you're looking at cosmetic, and you're looking at FDA approved. 40. Okay. No, how will you make Venn diagram for this? Think, how will you make Venn diagram? Cosmetic, nutrition, कहाँ डालोगे सब कुछ? It's impossible to make a Venn diagram for this type. Next one, how many cosmetic products did not have FDA approval? So cosmetic में कितने products थे जिसको FDA approval नहीं था? So what is it? 60. How did that 60 come? Think a little bit. So we've got 90 products. How many cosmetic products? Total cosmetic products were 180, out of which FDA approved were 40 and 80. So this answer is 180 minus 40 plus 80. So that becomes 60. Next one. Which among the following best represents the number of domestic cosmetic products? Okay. So, which among the following best represents the number of domestic cosmetic products that had both the approvals? So both approvals. Now pay attention, where first of all, where is both approvals? At least 10 and at most 60. What are they talking about? Number of domestic cosmetic. So domestic cosmetic is over here. We are talking about this data, right? Now we know 80 of them had only FDA, 80 had FDA approvals. So over here, now if you look at this, what will you get? At least 10, at most 60. Because 60 was the maximum, because both had 60 over here only. So it cannot go above 60. Which among the following options best represents the number of domestic? So this full 60 can be here. There's no problem. It can be only in cosmetic. It doesn't have to be in nutrition. But minimum 10, why? Because this FDA is only 50. So if FDA is only 50, both can't be 60. And that is why minimum 10 and maximum 60. ऐसे भी ये दो options तो ऐसे ही निकल जाते हैं, because 70 and 50 is not, 80 is not possible for most. So all the questions were of similar types. Now there's nothing much to discuss in that. I don't want to waste your time also. Once you've understood the how to do it, I thought it was pretty doable. Okay. Try this, try reading this and see whether you can get this. This is a very good, what we call nowadays, which is asked a lot in CAT, mathematical logic. So first thing which comes to my mind when I look at this set, it has too much data. Okay, there's a lot of data. A few salesmen are employed to sell a product called Trisec among households in the various housing complexes. On each day, a salesman is assigned to visit one housing complex. Once a salesman enters a housing complex, he can meet any number of households in the time available. However, if a household makes a complaint against the salesman, then he must leave the housing complex immediately and cannot meet any other household on that day. Clear till here? Now, a household may buy any number of Trisec items or may not buy any item. So they might buy items also, might not buy also. The salesman needs to record the total number of Trisec items sold as well as the number of households met in each day. So it needs to figure out how many houses did it go to and how many items did it sell. The success rate of a salesman for a day is defined as the ratio of the number of items sold to the number of households met on that day. Some details about performance of three people, uh, that is Tori, Hookley, and Lahore. You want to call it Rohit, Kohli, or Rahul? That's okay. Now, so initial part. What is the initial full paragraph giving me? It is giving me only rules, which I don't need to read one more time. It just gave me some rules. It just gave me a formula for ratio or success ratio, nothing else it gave me. Otherwise, all the other conditions are very basic. So you have to tell yourself, मैंने ये paragraph पढ़ लिया है, मुझे अब ये paragraph वापस नहीं पढ़ना है. That is very important. If you are going to read that paragraph again, you're going to waste time. I hope we don't have to read that paragraph. Over the 2 days, all three of met the same total number of household, and each of them sold a total of 100 items. Very good direct data. Everybody sold 100 items, all three, and everybody met the same number of households. Over 2 days, it was, remember. On both days, Lahore met the same number of households and sold the same number of items. So Lahore ka breakup is exactly half, which means he had sold 100 items. That means on day 1, he sold 50 items. Day 2, he sold 50 items. Hookley could not sell any item on the second day because the first household he met had complained against him, which means Hookley has already made a century on day 1. So Hookley के लिए it is 100-0. So अभी तक जो जो मिलते गया मुझे, मैं लिख रहा हूँ, लाहौर के लिए it is 50-50, Hookley के लिए it is 100-0. Tori met 30 more households on the second day than on the first. That is households, not about his 100. This Tori's success rate was that of twice of Lahore on day 1, and it was 75% of Lahore on second day. So ये part पूरा mathematical है. Last एक दो statement से मुझे maths लगाना पड़ेगा. I think I should get it, is my thought when I look at the set. So what was the total number of households met? So we have to work on households also. Products तो we know 100 बिके हैं. How many trisec items were sold by Tohri on the first day? That last 2 points will give us this. Because ये मिलेगा तो काफी कुछ मिल जाएगा. In fact, first 2 statements, questions are more or less the crux. How many households did Lahore meet on the second day? This type of options kind of irks me a little bit, which tells me that there is chances of vague data. Okay? Let's see. So there were 5 questions. Yeah, 5 questions. Let's see what will we do. So what I have divided everything is day 1 visited, sold. Day 2 visited, sold. Just pay attention carefully. I'm going through very slowly this one. On both days, Lahore met the same number of households and sold the same number of items. So Lahore met X people over here also, met X people over here also. And on both days, he sold same also. So 50-50. So this was the variable I brought into play. Okay. Next. So Tohri met 30 more households on the second day than on the first day. So what does that tell me? See, remember they had also told us that if Lahore has done 2x households, everybody has done the same number of households. So 2x को break up करना है. I want to break up 2x into 2 parts with a difference of 30. So one was x minus 15 and the other was x plus 15. This I think was a very, very, very important part of the set. If you got this right, I think you would have got it very easily. Okay. Hookley could not sell any item on the second day because the first household he met on that day complained against him. So on day 2, he visited only 1 household and 0 sold. Day 1, 100 sold, and total 2x में से 1 gone, so 2x minus 1. Okay. Now for Rahul, I am taking sold as y and 100 minus y. So basically my question has 2 variables. Till now I have not touched 0.5. Okay. I've got two variables not touch 0.5. Now I'm going to touch 0.5. Tori's success rate. What was success rate? Household sold upon household visited. Sold upon visited. So Tori ka success rate was twice that of Lahore on the first day. Double. So y upon x minus 15, y upon x minus 15 is double of x upon 50. Right? Or 50 upon x, not x upon 50, 50 upon x. And second day it was 75%. 100 minus y upon x plus 15 is 3 by 4, 50 upon x. Okay, both the sides we have 3 by 4 common, 50 upon x common, sorry. So I can solve it accordingly. Now see, pay attention, here I have taken, or I have solving for y. Y is 100 into x minus 15 upon x. Here I'll get 100 minus y is 150 into x plus 15 upon 4x. Bring this whole thing on one side, make an equation for y. 100 minus 150 into x plus 15 upon 4x is y. We got this equation. Now, equate both the y's. This is also y, this is also y. Equate them both. Obviously, एक step extra LCM का लिया है. And you start solving it. Once you solve it, you will get, obviously, एक ही variable, so you will get the answer. X is 25. Put x as 25 in any one of the equations to get y. If I put x as 25 over here, I'll get 10. 10,000 into 10, 100 into 1,000, 1,000 upon 25 is 40. So we get y as 40. So x mil gaya, y mil gaya, and your set is over. One thing you have to understand that once I figured this much out, the set was definitely doable. You have to, don't, a lot of people have this problem, they don't want to take variables. Sometimes in DILR, it is good to take a variable. It is okay if you take more variables. They will keep cancelling out on their own over a period of time. Don't worry so much about them. Okay. Now it looks easy. Initially, a lot of people were saying very difficult. Obviously, एक तो table में values डाल दिया खाली मैंने और कुछ भी नहीं किया है. Just take those tables and solve it. Total number of households sold by Tori, Hockley and Lahore on the first day. Sold or visited. Household visited, right? 10, 25 and 49. That will become 84. Theta question. You would have never guessed 84 is a random answer, obviously. How many tricycle items were sold by Tori on the first day? Tori on the first day has sold 40. That's the answer. How many household items? Now see, these two options were misleading. When the options were given, it thought like no values will not come exact. But all the exact values came. How many households did Lahore meet on the first day? Lahore on day 1 visited 25 households. So that is between 21 and 29. Okay? Between 21 and 29. Oh, second data, not first day, neither second data. So this one, not this one. Even though they were luckily both 25, but didn't matter. How many households did Tohri meet on the first day? So Tohri on first day met how many households? 10 households. That is 10 or less, third option. So this is option 3. Okay. So this third and fourth option, there's one more question I think over here. Yeah. Which of the following statements is false? Among the three, Tori had the highest success rate on day 2. So day 2 का success rate क्या है? What is success rate? Items sold upon visited. So 60 upon 40, यानी 6 by 4, 3 by 2, 1.5. This is 50 upon 25, which is 2. So first option is wrong. Among the three, Tori had the highest success rate on the second day. No, Lahore has. Anyway, that was a very clear option because it said some 75%. Among the three, Lahore had the lowest success rate on the first day. Lahore has 2 on the first day. Rahul, I think both are better than him. Tori has 40 divided by 10, 4. This has 2 exactly, and this is slightly more than 2. 100 divided by 49 is slightly more than 2. So that should be your answer. Which of the following is false? So sorry. So that is my answer, first option. ये भी बहुत ध्यान से करना होता है. false and true, because that statement was false. Kabhi false, kabhi true. You have to be very careful in that. One set I thought to put of a slightly different kind. It's a very old set. I don't know if they have seen it, but it's a set with optimization problem. It's a nice set of optimization. Why don't you all read through it a little bit and then we'll discuss it. How many people have done this set earlier? नो नॉट टू मच मजदूरी. दिस इज अ स्मार्ट सेट. इसमें कुछ भी नहीं करना है. इसको बहुत स्मार्टली कर सकते हैं. चलो लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट इट. 4 car needs to travel from A to B. Two routes are available, one via M and the other via N. So the roads from M to A to M and N to B are both short and narrow. In each case, so 1 minute, you want to go to A to B, you can go via M or via N. So one route is A to M, M to B. The other is A to N, N to B. Okay. If you want, you can put arrows also. Pay attention. Okay. The road from A to M and N to B both are narrow, and one car can take 6 minutes to cover the distance. That means if I go from A to M, I might take 6 minutes, and here also 6 minutes. But for every additional car, every car will take 3 more minutes because of congestion. That means if 2 cars will go, both of them will take 9 minutes. But if 3 cars will go, all three will take 12 minutes. And if 4 cars go, or all four will take 15 minutes. I'll repeat this part again. Every car added, congestion increases by 3 minutes. Original time was 6 minutes. If only one car is going, original time is 6 minutes. Plus 3 if 2 are going, plus 3 if 3 are going, plus 3 if 4 are going, in both the cases. On the road A to N, one car takes 20 minutes. So A to N is a long road, it takes 20 minutes. And every additional car increases the travel time by 1 minute only. So 20 minutes may, if one car extra comes, then 1 plus 1 plus 1, depending on how many cars are there. Thank you, Aman. That's a really heartening comment for me. Next one, M to B is also 20 with the addition of 0.9 every time. So this much data we know. Okay, the police department orders each car to take a particular route in such a manner that it is not possible for any car to reduce its travel time by not following the order while the others are following the order. This part was the slightly confusing part. You should read it at least 2 to 3 times before you take a decision to solve it. The police department orders each car. That means the police department suppose बोलता है 2 car यहाँ से जाओ, 2 car यहाँ से जाओ. Now, if I am in the car which is going from A to M, suppose if I don't decide to follow the police's order and I go to the other side, the police has so well planned it smartly that it will not help me. And that is the main crux of the set. That is why it is called an optimization problem. Yes, perfect. So you have to bring all the cars ka solution very close by. How many cars were asked to take the route A and B by the police department? If the cars follow the police order, what is the difference in travel time between a car between A and B and A and B? Okay, great. Let's go ahead. So let's try, because थर्ड क्वेश्चन के लिए कुछ नया डेटा है, थर्ड एंड फोर्थ के लिए, वो हम बाद में देखेंगे. तो हम पहले फर्स्ट वाला ट्राई करते हैं सॉल्व करने को. आई विल गो बैक एंड सॉल्व समथिंग मोर आल्सो, सो वेट. नाउ I will come to this data only, pay attention. Yeah, this is 2017 PYQ, I said also. Now, see, when will things get optimized? Because in both the routes, there is a 6 plus 3. And in both the routes, there is a 20 and very close to 21. 20.9 and 21. So my whole idea is इस पे simple थोड़ा दिमाग लगाना था. Have to think from 2 and 2 का perspective. So let's say to A and B, two cars are going, and A and B, two cars are going. I'll tell you why this set became so easy. A and B, two cars went. That means both of them took 9 minutes over here because two were going, so 9 minutes. And then they went M to B. They both took 20.9 minutes more. So total time taken was 29.9. A and B, mein what happened? They took 21 minutes and then 9 minutes, which is 30 minutes. Now think a little bit. Is there any way anybody who does not follow the police order, we have already maximized it closest to 0.1. And by simple logic, that if you want to I didn't use any great logic by saying, oh, how did the number two come, sir? There were four cars. So मैंने आधा आधा बांट दिया. Let me start from there. No, if it works, great. And that is why I thought this set was so easy. Okay, so that is why the first question, how many cars would be asked to take the A and B route? And A and B route, sorry, would be two cars. The answer for the first question would be two cars. And when you solve the first question, the second question answer also came. So my point is, see, also this was CAT 2017 when there were 8 sets. So what also happens with that, that maybe you had to do 3 or 4 sets that time. So time per set was low. So over here, you also got this answer, 0.1 wala, because का time 29.9, दूसरे का 30. So answer is 0.1. Done. Okay. Now let's read the second part of it. New data for the second part. A new one-way route is built from M to N. Each car now has three possible routes. So there was A to M, M to B, A to N, N to B. This was there originally. Now there's a new route. What? A new one-way route is built. One-way route. It's only M to N. It is not going the other way around. I'll just write all the values over here. 6 plus 3 था यहाँ पे, 6 plus 3 था यहाँ पे, which was 20 plus, yeah, sorry, this was 20 plus 0.9 and this was 20 plus 1. Right? What have they said about N? M to N. On the road, M to N, one car takes 7 minutes and each additional car increases the travel time by 1. So 7 plus 1, 8 minutes. Okay. Now let's understand. Let's try this. Assume that any car taking the AMNB route travels the very obvious. How many cars will the police department order to take the AMNB route so that it is not possible for any car to reduce its travel time? Same as per the earlier question. Now here, what I did, I remember doing it very well, that I had taken two over here first, and then tried sending one that way. But if you want, you can check it. So first start with 2. AM में 2. So 9 minutes and 9 for AN wala also. So AN wala to will do take the same time 29 minutes A and B because that can't go to M. So they will take 29 minutes, that is 20 plus 1, 21 plus 9, 29 minutes. Okay. Now, what about the other one? These will take 29. What about this one? This will take 9. 9 plus 8. Now there are, so sorry, this will not take 9. This will take more time. Sorry, 2 cars only I said, no? 2 cars. So 9. 9 plus 8 plus 9. How much is that? That is 18. 18 plus 8, 26. Sure. For example, will anybody save time? Okay, I'm just reading the chat if there is anything. No. Is this really optimized? Don't know. Is there a better solution? Don't know. See, optimized doesn't mean that it has to be lower. Optimized means that it has to be closer. Then I thought, let me try and send. Acha, bhai. No, no, this is wrong. One second. This is incorrect. Let me just check. This is incorrect. Let me just change this. There were two cars over here. Actually, let's go through it. A, M, then I would send one over there and one over here, right? So A एक है AM में दो cars है, so 6 plus 3 9. Then one car will come to MN, so that will become. But why will a car go to MB only? Then both the cars, let them come to MN only. So I will get 26 and 29, like what I just did. B. There's a problem. But then in NB there'll be four cars. Then on NB there'll be four cars, and that will be a problem. Then on NB there are four cars, and the time will change drastically. So what I next did is I thought, let me send one car in this route and three cars over here, out of which two cars will come down and one car will go straight. And that way you work out. So three cars, out of which two will go to A to M to N, and so on. That is the way you work out the maximization problem. Don't, as I set solving today. Okay, I think people are also more or less got tired. I can see through the chat. Okay, is there a audio? Acha, both the mic seems good. Is anybody finding an audio issue still? Let me check. Okay, okay. Hello, hello. My voice is. I'm going to try it once more. Last time. Anybody wants to talk about DILR in general? DILR which they want to talk about. How many people have faced this in DILR that on a random day they do. Okay, just give me a second. I'll try and fix the audio issue. Just let me know that the audio issue has been solved or not. Now, is the audio issue okay? Last time, just tell me, is the audio issue okay? So, still issue with audio. I don't know why. Okay, let's continue. If you all can hear me, let's continue with the basic. Yeah, now better, right? So, okay, let me explain one thing to you. DILR is a thing like that. There will be some days where you'll be very good, some days you'll be very poor. Very simple. Keep your mind calm in DILR. Try and select the best two sets and put your time on that. DILR should be one of those sections, unless it is generically your strong section. It should be one of those sections where you're always getting, you know, you're always getting your basics right, and that should be your aim in DILR. Get two sets right. If you can clear your cutoffs, I think you're safe in DILR. And two sets will be great. All normally people suffer when they start wanting to attempt a lot more in DILR. That's my thing. So, what should you do tomorrow? I'll be very frank. Don't do a lot. Relax a little bit. Maybe go out for a small walk somewhere. Spend some time with family or friends. Uh, don't overburden yourself. Eat light. Very, very, very important. Eat light and eat well. Keep yourself hydrated. Okay. Listen to some music if that comforts you. Watch maybe a comedy movie if that comforts you. Whatever works for you. You know, at some time I used to advise people to watch Andaz Apna Apna. But now that movie is outdated. I don't know how many people really love that kind of movie. But these are the things which you can do. The marathon session with the formulas is just like a revisor. I will I will keep solving. You all just have to come and have a look at formulas if you want, really. Very frankly, I'm not going to solve any questions there. If you want to come and have a look at the formulas just like a revision one time before, that great. It's not going to be too long a session, maybe 1.5 hour. I'll take up area wise formulas. Okay, geometry I did more or less yesterday. Great, whatever movie works for you is best. One more thing, you know, don't let one section of yours spoil the other section. Say, let's say by chance you've had a bad DILR section. I hope not, but let's assume you've got a bad DILR section. What should you do? Should you spoil Quant also? No. Take the test seriously, finish Quant well. You might not know which college might change some rule next year and what particular college you are looking at, and that college might not want some cutoffs. Something new will come up. Some new college pops up somewhere and says, okay, we're looking only at overall, we're not looking at sectionals. Don't take any chances. Take it very, very seriously and don't let one section spoil it. Don't zone out in the test. A big problem a lot of students have. They start zoning out in a test. I don't know how you all have time. Okay. So I'll tell you what is my idea of time on a quant question versus a DILR question. In DILR, even after selecting the set, I decided that I'm going to select this set. And say in the first 5 minutes, I'm not going anywhere. I will leave it. Yes, if I'm going somewhere, I might take 9 minutes. That's okay. But in the first 5 minutes, if I realize I'm not going anywhere, that means the table which I had made, wo galat hai, yeah, all the data which I've understood is wrong, then I would move on to the next set because in that pressure, you will never be able to correct yourself. So this is a story I tell everybody. I'll tell you all also. There was a particular year, I maybe 21 or 20 or whatever. One of the years there was a set on some number of diamonds in some pouch and all that. And I remember so well making such a stupid error in that set and not getting that set. But if you sit in the test and keep trying to solve that set, you will never realize that mistake. You might come home and might realize that mistake like this, but otherwise it doesn't happen. So please be careful about these things. Okay, so these are the things which are important. Quant में I normally again same that 5 minutes जो मैंने DILR के लिए बोला, I would quant में put it down to 2 minutes. See, quant में there are 22 questions. एक नहीं हुआ तो big deal. Okay, if you lose one question, no big deal. Even the best make silly mistakes, and they will make silly mistakes. And I have known the best faculties to go and solve a simultaneous equation question wrong, and when they're getting all everything else right. So it happens. Don't worry about all those things. Start working on general stuff. Okay, so 2.5 minutes is what I would do. So what to do when none set is opening and we have around 20 minutes left? If you have 20 minutes sets left, and if nothing is really working out, I would sit on one which looks the easiest out of the three and rack my brains for the remaining 20 minutes. I will work. See, there are a lot of manual ways which you can work with a set and get it faster. Oh, sorry, by a longer process, you will get it still. You might not get it faster, but by the longer process, little bit more manual labor, you will get it. So it is okay sometimes to reach that level where एक set अगर 20 मिनट बचा है और एक set करना है तो कर दो. Because if nothing else is happening, I at least hope to clear the cutoff with that one and a half set. Okay. What else? Uh, my gut feeling, quant is going to be much easier this year. Okay, compared to 23, definitely somewhere close to 24. 24 also was easy, I think so. Somewhere close to 24 quant will be, it will not be too difficult. Arithmetic should still rule the roost. Arithmetic के 8 से 9 questions आएंगे, जिसमें से 5 से 6 will be level A, and there'll be algebra, geometry will be having, algebra will have around 6 questions, geometry will have around 4 questions. That will be the main crux of your paper. Yes, you can have one fine day where you'll have one PNC question, which is very simple. But you don't worry about such questions, right? Piyush, I'm not the right person to take guesses on VARC, but from what I've been hearing, it looks like I am Kozhikode will set a balanced paper, doesn't set too difficult a paper. But that's Dipti, what you have to, Priya, you have to be, Dipti Priya, whatever that is, you have to be careful about. Your one section cannot, your mind cannot uh, play with you for the other section. And that is one very important thing. I would never do last few days with new sets. I wouldn't mind revising older ones. Please don't do a new set in the last few days. Revise the old one, that's okay. Same goes for quant. Don't do any new random concept, because on YouTube at this moment, all faculties and everybody are solving so much. Suddenly you will see a magic shortcut and you'll say, oh God, I have never heard of this shortcut and I'm doomed. So don't worry, that always will happen. If nobody is such that has heard of all these shortcuts. So yesterday somebody told me one shortcut, and I, after all my years of teaching, had not heard of it. So don't worry about all these things. Okay? Please make a list of the things which you want to carry and don't want to carry at the exam center. Please be careful. Especially don't carry your expensive phones, or at least see that somebody is coming to drop you and you've dropped the phone with them, because they will make you keep everything in the locker. And then I don't want you to sit up in the examination hall and worry about, अरे मेरा नीचे iPhone 17 Pro Max अच्छी कंडीशन में है कि नहीं. So please don't do that. Anuj, if answer is 25.5 and if it was a theta question, it is definitely you made some mistake. Write something and move on. Yes, if you feel that you want to check for the calculation, that's a different thing. But theta questions will not have decimal answers. They will not have negative answers. They can have zero answer. Answer can be zero, but they cannot be negative and they cannot be this. I always see, it all depends on your preparation, but I always talk about attempting arithmetic first, because arithmetic से ज्यादा में ज्यादा क्वेश्चन निकलते हैं. Alameen, yaar, you have to have the, come on, Alameen, you cannot speak like this. You have to have uh, the importance of understanding that what you've done is good enough. You know, you can't sit on the D day and learn new things, right? The D day is just about producing the result of what you've done throughout. So please don't talk like this, Alameen. I'm very disappointed if you talk like this. I'm really hoping you do well. Mehek, I don't know whether you started this session with me. I already spoke about that part. So you can go through this video ka start part. DLR prediction, I think it will be medium DLR section, not very easy, not very. Definitely doesn't look like a CAT 24 slot 1 section. It will be difficult than that. In quant, I go question by, so quant, okay, since somebody mentioned quant and what is your quant ka, what do you do in the first 2 minutes? I don't do anything in the first 2 minutes. I'll tell you what I do. My first round is identifying ABC and solving A. So suppose question, I'll just give you an example. Suppose question number one, I see it and I say it's a B. It's a B. It's not even a C. I will park it. Question number two, it's a A. I will solve it and then I'll go ahead. Question number three, it's a A. I will solve it and I'll go ahead. But please don't select too many B's as A. What mistake y'all make? No, y'all think everything is a A. Oh, very easy, very easy. You know where the very easy habit comes from? Because y'all are looking at questions which are already similar to what you've done. I hope y'all see similar questions because my favorite saying, I hope you get lucky. And my favorite saying is the harder you work, the luckier you get. So if you worked really hard, you're going to see those questions which you've identified as easy or whatever, and you will get lucky. Okay. So that's my favorite saying. Harder you work, the luckier you get. So if you are one of those, just for example, to give a random number, if you solve 5,000 questions in quant versus somebody who solved 2,000, the person who has solved 5,000 is bound to see more good questions than the one, or more solvable questions than the one who has solved 2,000. Okay. Very good question is that if you are in slot two, should you understand what slot one asks? Very frankly, you will barely have time because what I have noticed is, normally when the line of students come down from slot one, the line of students from slot two are going up. Slot three students can do that. They can listen to some analysis which we will create for slot one, and maybe if we come up with what surprises were there and all that, you can be a little bit ready. But slot two barely has a chance. Yeah, if you meet a friend down near the gate and if they just tell you something, that's a different thing. But otherwise, slot two students should not overburden themselves with that. Yeah, please carry some extra stuff, your hall ticket ka ek extra copy, your identification cards का एक दो extra copy, आधार पैन जो भी है एक एक्स्ट्रा कर लो. एक आध पेन ले लो, अलाउड नहीं है तो भी कैरी करके जाओ, एक 5 रुपए वाला पेन. Just carry some stuff. Okay. Don't wear in. I know Delhi and all the other cities, it's cold a little bit. Don't wear those heavy jackets in the hall. They will make you remove them and keep them somewhere. Okay, so be careful about those things. So I think you can carry some notes. Don't carry coins. Don't carry a wallet. Just carry notes. Notes they don't remove. One shift, that is, if the result is not going to impact you, you can give the mock. But if you're going to get impacted by the result, and what if the mock goes bad, then please don't do that. Cool, everybody. We'll wind up with the session. Thank you so much for being here. Best of luck for the ones who are not going to come tomorrow. And the ones who are going to come tomorrow, I'll see you again tomorrow. Best of luck. Do well. Thank you. Hardik, if you've been doing that earlier, you should do. Otherwise, no. Thank you, everybody. And good night. See you.